Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
Thank you. Million times thank you. First of all, if you're watching this and it's not January, then you're probably on the Patreon. Or if it's not even February, you're probably on the Patreon. So thank you. Triple that amount. And I've still got a few of these Thrill Oxide blind box or blind bags left. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it that I don't offer anywhere outside of this right here. Like you can't even buy some of the stuff that's in here individually on the website. Also got these Moonchild sticker sheets and a whole bunch of others. I got like 20 sticker sheets now. I went all out. Maybe I went too far. Maybe I went way too far into the sticker sheets. But some of these are so awesome. And hopefully there's some left by the time you're even seeing this. If you're on Patreon, then you've got a chance. And speaking of, the Patreon members are the ones that are keeping almost all this new content going and flooding out. And they're getting to see it at least a month ahead of time, sometimes 2 months. I know sometimes I'll interview someone and they'll mention like, oh, wow, it doesn't air until when? And but if you're on Patreon, you're seeing it super early. And with the added benefit of making all of this possible, everything that I'm doing, I don't have to do like extra hours in the mines or anything like that. And today, let me get back. Let's get situated here. So today we got BurnEye.
All right. Well,
dude, you've got more names than a Wu-Tang Clan member. So
wow, is that a synchronicity? Because I was actually going to bring up my original name of BurnCron, which is my clothing line, BurnCron BurnEye, and that in the same album that I was going to show some pictures of throughout this, there's actually pictures of me with Wu-Tang, with the chef Raekwon himself in Montreal. So just a little sync there, but I feel special that it's, the regular world isn't going to see this. You got to be paid. I'm worthy of being paid.
for a month or so,
right? Well, exactly, right?
Because I'm making sure that I've got enough content lined up so that I can like not stress out about not having another episode like on deck,
Right.
which is it's easy to stress out over, to be honest.
Well, it gives me faith and hope now that the last one we did is actually just being cycled through that and hasn't
the paranoid programming one. It is, because
yeah.
I've got another one that I did with Eric Hunley where we were training some special stuff to like a lore essentially to make it look like Lee Harvey Oswald. And but I need to edit some of those because there's a whole lot of just like me dumb clicking around, and the ones that I have to edit take way longer to put out because I just keep it on the back burner.
like editing, I use actually like the StreamYard editing is pretty good to like get the clip going or cut out all of the clips of like the clicking around and getting to the juicy parts to then save as like the original or your like hard video file to then work with and add other stuff to, right?
Well, speaking of talking shop, look what we got here.
Boom.
So we were right before we started recording, we were talking because BurnEye's just got some screen printing stuff going on. He's got like a whole inventory of awesome like clothes. So I was just mentioning that I really enjoy when I find printers that go out and find like old vintage shirts, like maybe old tie-dye shirts or whatever, and then use those to print on instead of just bulk ordering some crap polyester from, wherever, fill in the blank. Usually it comes from a variety of places.
Gildan or Fruit of the Loom, etc., right?
And when you're talking about those, it might be coming from Thailand, it might be coming from Vietnam, it might be coming from a variety of places. Sometimes the same Gildan or the same, we're talking shop a little bit, but the same like supplier, they switch around their suppliers. Like they're just middlemaning everything to you anyways. So anyways, once you find a really nice feeling shirt or like a perfect fit or just like some
that
cool
fitted
thing.
Woven nice cotton, the woven cotton, and like that, it's like when you're dealing wholesale, it's only like $1, $2 between like something that's like scratchy, rough, like crap quality compared to the nice fit that's gonna last a long time. And you gotta put pride and you gotta put quality into your prints, into your work. And
well, I guess that's another extra advantage if you're sourcing from like used clothing stores or thrift stores. Like that's about as pre-shrunk as you're gonna get. Like hopefully that thing's been lived in. And
sorry, so this is like a digital, just print, right, of it. But then these are showing here like the same print on several different shirts, and then I actually closed that to go back to the main size so I can show, for instance, the this bear print. It's a 6-screen, 6-color print. Here it is on like a woman's V-neck, but when we did the prints, lining up all of the 6 screens, doing the run, I also had included collected several of these different styles of high-end fashion jackets from, for instance, like something like a thrift store. Well, these I got specifically from a supplier that it's like the show items or whatnot that they do for the catalog in the year, so you get one of each sort of thing. And right, so then it's like when you do your run, you want to have a bunch of different things that you get it in, but then you get to the problem where by the end you get some very limited stock and have to do another print or put your extra smalls and your triple extra larges on sale, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's a rough business now, especially with like the direct to garment stuff where you just use Amazon merch or you use, Printify or Printful or any of the number of drop shippers that just do it remote. And then you have to make sure you order some of them yourself and check the seed. Like, does it really hold up in the wash?
Right. Quality control is key in that. That's a very good point. And that we're also talking pre-record of the synergy or like the necessariness of doing both sort of thing, right? That I need to get a couple of my designs, let go of that, I have to own the rights to all of it and print it all myself mentality, and put a couple out into the corporate world so that anyone that wants it right now can order it, and the boom, it's done by the company, and at least you get a little bit back. While then also in the new year here, I'm finally setting up my equipment again, and we'll be able to do the special orders, those custom orders, those one-of-a-kind pieces, right? That's the collector items. Truly.
That's what I want to definitely collaborate on too, because that's exactly when you pull out those big guns of that stock of like some vintage tie-dye that, you know, you found at Goodwill and you just threw in a box somewhere to use one day. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'd really love to collect. Or like some badass old like denim jackets, or like I don't know, man.
Oh, exactly. Like I literally still have Tupperware like bins upon bins ready to print of stuff.
You know what I really want? Like anyone out there that's taken down, you know, a gift list for Paranoid American, but a freaking Carl Kanai denim jacket, and then we'll just custom print on that. That would be like the ultimate holy grail for me. I've got a really beat up Carl Kanai's hoodie that like it's ripped and it's torn, and like I'm gonna have like some leather patches added onto the elbows and everything because like I never want to let it go. But anyways, I wasn't expecting to just jump and talk into clothing right off the bat here. There's so much else going on, dude. First of all, you've got the coolest background out of any podcast I've ever been on. I'm not even gonna try to compete. Like it's just impossible. But yeah, look at how sick this whole getup is, and it's a 360-degree experience too. It's not.
It truly is.
Like you get to live in this amazing. I don't even know what to call it.
Lab.
Like
lab,
you're in the lab, dude.
And get up. It's everywhere. It's a wonderful time.
I love it, man. It looks like a tree fort that I would totally hang out in all the time.
Right. So it's in a basement, so it's more of a Hobbiton hole, I guess. But
even better.
Exactly. Although I would like to have the tree fort up top eventually, right? Get some homunculus giant beanstalks going to get a giant tree house, and you bring up Bert and Ernie Cam there. The alchemist minions are labeled as tonight. The jar behind being one of my alchemy processes of electrolysis, that one making monoatomic silver and colloidal silver, just using 2 ounce, but you can use 1 ounce, but you have to make sure that it is pure silver 99.999. You don't want sterling silver or anything that's a mix of other metals, especially sometimes they have lead in it, which will absolutely kill you. But even with such other metals as nickel or copper, it will oxidize, and then the dioxide diatomic structure, it's no longer a single monoatomic atom, it is diatomic, and that's where you turn blue and it starts poisoning you with heavy metal accumulation and toxicity.
Okay, hold on. So because I actually just saw I can't even remember the name of it. I think it's called like Love Will Save Us All, or it's about some cult where a lady basically, like, everyone there was drinking this like monoatomic or colloidal silver, I think that was a particular one, and like she turns like absolutely like Smurf blue, not even just like a
she gonna die, and that's not monoatomic, that's diatomic. It's oxidized and it has become poisonous, so those people need to stop immediately.
Well, she didn't, like, you know, spoiler alert, she died. I don't know if it was from that, but when she died,
of course it was definitely was guaranteed.
So does this happen if you've got like the legit colloidal silver and you just let it sit out too long and then you drink it like a year later?
So here's the thing, this one, it's still white. This is 10, almost at least 8, I'd say 9 years. I love that you keep it
in a Crown Royal bottle,
right? Like, exactly.
Is this like Bernie's
and the limited edition, baby?
Is this like the moonshine of colloidal silver?
Right. Well, this also contains. This is a mixture of monoatomic gold, monoatomic zinc, monoatomic copper, and monoatomic silver. All 4 of them remaining in that white state. And then there's also, I've got it some gold. Well, I've gotten gold. And this is gold right here, as well as silvers and zinc into this purple state. And gold turns into the purple state from the white state when you leave it out in the sun. Silver does it in the moon, and the zinc, well, I'll do a demonstration of how to make it some other day. But yeah, several of them in this purple state. And so the purple state, or sorry, this one's the gold. Here you can see still the gold flakes.
So, and hold on,
built
you
up
said
on
the
bottom.
gold turns purple because of sunlight, and
In
the
the sun.
silver turns purple because of moonlight?
Yes, sir.
This is blowing my mind a little bit, because this almost feels like
The
some sort
alchemists
of...
claim that the gold is sun and that the moon is silver. And I actually, so I don't know if we've discussed this before, but yeah, when making the monoatomic silver, you have to make it on a full moon, and it produces a lot of it. If you make it on when the moon is waning or waxing, very little actually is produced. And I've left it on a month-long cycle is how I discovered it. And 1 month there was a super moon on the full moon, and the entire container was filled that night, and it just blew my mind. And I've got pictures of it, how it's like waxes and wanes with the amount of silver being produced on the lunar cycle.
Does this matter if you're inside or outside, or with this?
No, it goes through the home. Well, definitely.
Wow, man, you're kind of blown. I have to say, not out of like my pure skepticism, I can't get over like that's
right.
bullshit.
So here's the thing. I've backed this up. I've fucking put my reputation on the line. I did a live stream experiment with the Alien Scientist channel. There's Mark Sokol of Falcon Space also on it. He was doing some experiments in his lab. I set it up to do the live demo during a lunar eclipse, and sure enough, it was as soon as I plugged it in, it was producing a whole bunch because it was a full moon. The eclipse came in, it stopped producing it like live on air, and then as the freaking eclipse ended, it started producing it again.
This is amazing, man. Has this been documented already, or is this
Yeah,
kind of like
it's all on YouTube. Like, it's out there. It's
no,
on
but I know. I'm sorry. I mean,
my
like,
oh yeah, like
like
officially no. But I've got Dr. Bob Grenier of the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project encouraging me to publish and write papers, and that he would co-publish with me.
Absolutely, man.
Right,
like,
and
do this yesterday.
I know, like the time has to be. The time is right now, right? 2024. It's now. So now it's 2024. By the time you see it, it will be this year that I will publish.
You can only write it on a full moon and an eclipse at the same time, or a super moon.
And so here's the other thing, though. I was like, okay, so that's with the silver, and then when I was, because I use pure silver when making the monatomic silver, pure gold, pure 24 karat gold, pure 24 karat gold anode, cathode when making monatomic gold. That's why some of the metal broken down, you can still see is in this gold flake directly off of the 24 karat gold bar that it broke down from. And that I then started noticing, well, it's extremely expensive. And so silver will last a very long time. Like, it's hard to erode it off 5 volts or corrode it off 5 volts over a month on a 1 ounce coin even. But gold, on the other hand, it will completely corrode in about 12 hours of electrolysis with 5 volts going through it on the anode side. So extremely expensive for a very short period of runtime to get the process down. But the last couple times I ran the experiment, I did it right before sunset, at sunset, to test it, because I was like, one time I had enough that I let it go 24 hours, and when I woke up, it was like all this black sludge. And now it's like I've tested it twice at sunset, and it's like it'll produce the gold. We'll do monoatomic gold during daylight. As soon as the sun sets, it starts producing this black monoatomic sludge stuff instead of the white monoatomic gold.
And so let's say that you've got like let's get crazy. Let's say you've got like an ounce gold coin, right? You've got like a Liberty or something, pure gold. Yeah. And you run this thing overnight or whatever. Is that like never going to be gold again? Like, did that gold just evaporate into nothing, and now the best thing you can do is maybe drink it or throw it out? Or can you like turn that back into gold again?
Yes and no. So, not very easily, but through certain chemical reactions, yes, you can. And that's been a problem that I've had with the electrolysis process, is like, right, how do you reverse it? There's supposedly ways you can microwave the metallics or the monoatomics back into a solid state. that I haven't, dared experiment with in my own home until, I get a lab that don't freaking, who knows what the hell's going to happen. But the other process is through ancient alchemy. There's actually documented these chemical process ways. And shout out to Michael in Utah, Esoteric Gold, and Jeremiah Pop, Exotic Propulsion. Both of them have been reformed or reproduced solid gold state through the chemical reaction from the monoatomic. And we've done a couple episodes where they're demonstrating it live on camera with us. And it's just a matter of getting the right acid mixture in and solidify it back into it.
So barring those two methods, like what else is there? Anything at all that it's good for, or could you just literally dissolve an ounce of gold?
I've spent thousands of dollars of pure gold into just white fluff, and some that the original ones that I did turn oxidized into blue fluff, which it's still sitting there. So it's like it's toxic, poisonous, literal gold that is dust in a jar. That is like I melted down like $4 or $5 grand of like all my jewelry that I had like accumulated during teenage years and like freaking
all in the name
college,
of science,
university, right? Like, oh god. So waiting for that, and it's like I've got to use the specific chemical way to do it to separate the oxide aspect out of the gold first. Otherwise, you risk turning it into other compounds, and then it's just like way more expensive, taxing process to have to then re-break it down again and do it all over. It's a lot of work. It ain't cheap. We'll put it that way. But the microwave way is potentially a lot easier. I've seen it's done in a couple presentations, but it's something I really want to be able to experiment with. And we'll be talking further with Martin Fleischman, Mora Project, Bob Greenyears on that in an upcoming episode, as well as I do I got to publish my papers, my thesis with transmutations of metal elements, all of my work with Sir Isaac Newton's alchemy work, and the real science of ancient alchemy to come. But in that giant master works, I also predict that there's a much easier way to re-solidify that monatomic gold into solid gold, and it's by pumping the resonant frequency of gold into the electrolysis reaction in a certain way.
And what's the resonant frequency of gold?
That's something that I've been talking to John Hutchinson about, how to measure it, record it, how they've done it. And then be able to replay it, reuse it in experiments. Off the top,
is it not just like a standard that would?
It is a standard, yes, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I believe it would be like the atomic mass of the element of an atom of gold, and then at its vibrational frequency of that mass, right? However they calculate base. So that's a very good question that I've been meaning to look more into and trying to get that answer. It seems to be rather classified information, to be honest, when it comes to the scientific community and the academic. To, honest to God truth, it's kind of crazy.
Do you think that you could just make gold from scratch, like without starting with gold?
So
do you think that's really possible?
I believe twice turned once copper and once silver when I've gotten it into this pink crystalline state that Sir Isaac Newton talks about. Have gotten it into what appeared to be gold layered on the outside of it, and that it appeared to turn into gold. I was reproducing a ancient alchemical writing process that Isaac Newton was explaining on how to transmute the elements when doing it, and I believe it is easily done once again with that resonant frequency and the specific like temperature, energy, and harmonics going into these electrolysis reactions. Both with
if someone wanted to like dip their toe into this, like what's the entry point Like, what's the bare minimum of
So
materials and
all you really
resources?
need is an old cell phone freaking charger where you just snip. So you'll take the end off, you'll just go snip, and you'll have a red wire and a black wire, and it's a 5-volt power source. That's literally what I do, 80-90% of my experiments with. And your red is your anode, that's what's going to dissolve, and your black is your cathode, and that's what's going to produce all the hydrogen off of the water and just salt water that you use. And you can take 2 silver coins to make your colloidal. As long as it remains white, it is good. As soon as it turns blue, it is toxic and it will poison you. And then there's the red mercurial state that they claim is mercury. Who knows? I need, my own mass spectrometer to be able to see if I'm actually transmutating metals into mercury randomly. But it's interesting.
Aside from just looking at it and seeing that it's turning blue, is there a way to tell if it's like, getting spoiled or getting
Just by
moldy?
color, simply by color.
Is
If
that
it's
it?
white,
But like, what if you don't have the greatest eyesight, or what if you don't? What if you're colorblind? Like, is there some other method?
I would assume that once you to harvest it, I rinse all the salt out of the water. I rinse it 9 times and collect like the monoatomics from the bottom each time, dump the water out, repeat. And then you can let the monoatomics or the Ormus material GANs, whatever you want to call it, these nano materials, you can let it dry out. And I'm sure if you had the right equipment that like the white single atom stuff would weigh a certain amount per gram or like volume of it compared to the diatomic probably being a bit more with the oxygen on it, right? So I don't know.
Were
Or
you
just have a mass spectrometer and then boom, burn it and see what's in it each time.
well, then you might never see that gold again for sure.
Yeah, that's but according to the legend of David Hudson, when you burnt monoatomic gold, it would like disappear and then come back or something, and it like levitate, all sorts of weird shit. That's a
if you can get that on a live stream, that would be dope,
right? I got to start. So I want to put it into basically plasma tubes, and start turning.
That looks more like a Heineken bottle than a plasma tube.
A little bit of both, right?
I like it. I like the mixture of the two.
Exactly.
How have you tinkered with any like Tesla technology? Have you ever made like a Tesla coil or anything? Have you made
I've made like the basic ones like that you just assemble and weld from like a packet off of Amazon that comes from China, sort of thing. When it comes to that, it's like I just leave it to Jeremiah with Exotic Propulsion, join the technicians there. Like literally, he's got hundreds of them. Same with Charlie C. Charles Crawford III there out of Texas, and Mark Sokol of Falcon Space. All 3 of them in their labs, like they literally like have hundreds of different ones for different voltages.
It's so cool, yeah.
So yeah, it's epic. So yeah, it's like they bring it to the real science shows that we do together, and I don't have to make it; they do it. It works out.
Well, just like I don't have to do any weird alchemy projects. Like you're my go-to. So if I need to know about some weird alchemy or like why I'm starting,
so it's like I can just send the straight, fluffy, made from camera and see on Burnt Ernie there. That's jar here. I'll pull it up and swish it around for you. See that you can see here's the 2 coins. 1, 2, both silver, but the anode there turning that orangish reddish color as it dissolves off there. But I can put a little water, fresh water. And stir up. monatomics, and now you can see the cloud level of the actual silver that dissolved off. And that it's pure white. There's no blue in there at all, right? And that's what you want when making it.
That's the part that scares me, is like like, what if I'm looking at it and I'm like, I would just stare at it for so long and be like,
oh yeah, right. Well,
that's
the thing,
does
though.
That look blue to you? I don't know. Does it
no,
look blue to
but
me?
that's the thing, is like, yeah, it's like 2 or 3 weeks of rinsing. Like, it takes a day to let the water refill it, let it settle down fully, so every single particle is at the very, very bottom there, as opposed to all mixed up. And that when it gets to the very bottom, you pour all of the water out, and you're having to do that 9 times. So it's over a couple of weeks' time, and you're able to, see it in the sun as clear as can be, that it is, white, not bluish, not blue. And well, it's a difference of like clearly turquoise, clearly blue, clearly. You turn Smurf. You're the Smurf color. It's the Smurf color for the reason. And hey, maybe the Smurfs are actually dwarfs in silver mines.
Or maybe they're just buying a bunk new age
right?
Right. Gargamel's just like a horrible drop shipper.
So here's the thing. Speaking of bunk new age stuff, a lot of people will sell you, oh, this is monoatomic gold, and they'll price it in the price of gold. Well, because real monoatomic gold is weight for weight gold, but it's that, or colloidal gold or colloidal silver water. And this is the water on top of the monoatomics, and the monoatomic is 1,000,000 parts per million. Now, colloidal silver on average is like 13 parts to like 35 parts per million when being sold. And the 35 parts is like your top of the grade. And I think it's like 18 parts is like standard. And they'll sell you this colloidal silver for like 200 ounces, like 20 to 50 bucks, some places like 100. And it's like, literally, you just make your own, and then you have 1,000,000 parts per million, and you can refill it every single day and use a whole bottle worth of it every single day, instead of paying $20 for a little spray that is ridiculous.
If let's say that you just start getting just a tinge of blue, you personally,
if it's
not
a tinge of blue, what I use it for then is as sprays on like door handles, as a disinfectant, right? And then it's like that's what I'll use the water for. The blue monatomic or diatomic material, the ormus itself, just collect and use. I'm storing later for these microwave experiments and chemical reaction experiments and stuff. So forth with it. But
what if you personally are turning blue? Like your skin starts turning blue. Not you, BurnEye, but like just
stop
anyone.
Immediately. Stop immediately.
So
you have
stop immediately. Does it just like reverse?
If you're turning
time?
blue, you're probably gonna die fairly quickly, and you have so much heavy metals in you. You're literally turning blue. Stop what you are doing. That is not what you want. It's like it is called diatomic for a reason.
Okay, so there's no healthy level of blue where you're just like, I'm gonna just maintain this level of blue going forward.
Well, then maybe if you're like a demigod, because we have all those blue demigods, and supposedly they took the monoatomic gold. Maybe they're taking diatomic, and I don't know.
No, I feel like I know the answer to this question, but just this is like, I don't know, like 8-year-old me asking, not 40-year-old me asking. But when I was a kid, because I had like the chemistry set, and I had, but it came with like borax and a bunch of like dumb stuff. And at some point I accidentally made some weird sticky sludge that was kind of fun to play with. I have no idea what it was, but I do remember going nuts in like the spice cabinet and just like mixing, in my mind, like I was being an alchemist by mixing cinnamon with nutmeg and 5 spice and just like a bunch of crap. Is there absolutely any merit of any kind of like mixing spices and organic material,
especially when connecting them with oils, because then you're dealing with the properties of connecting superconductivity within this nanotech, and that the oil activates the nano signature, this resonant frequency of each particle. So, for instance, I've shown many times that just a drop of blood into this electrolysis reaction on the cathode side, it starts reproducing what Keshi has stated is your amino acids, basically your own mRNA / your own like cellular material, which is essentially your resonant frequency nano cell piece, right? So it's like if you have a whole bunch of those, especially from like different plants and stuff, and then you're coating it in these oils, you're creating a giant field of this energy, is how I've been taught to understand it. And that especially when you then coat it onto like such coils, that the Keshi Foundation, that's a huge part of their technology, is you take like a flame, or you take caustic, or you do the electrolysis on the cathode side. It builds this nano coating layer on the outside, which is then breaking down your solid state covalent bonds into like just the single nano structure remaining on the outside, that is then able to interact with your single states monoatomic material, and then it interacts into this plasma. Essentially, I guess it's plasma state. Physical matter and energy is the way they teach it. And then anything plasma is essentially superconductive, possibly conscious, and you're going into all sorts of crazy woo. Yeah.
What do you mean by conscious?
So yeah, I've had a talk with Dr. Joseph Farrell, and he wrote his most recent book on this giant intergalactic plasma mass of the universe, and that it seems like it's conscious. And then my own experiments with these monoatomics, how they self-organize, do like all of this crazy entropy. It seems like it's almost conscious. And then you go into Dan Winter's work with the flame and the mind, and flames are plasma, blood is plasma. What is plasma? Does plasma state contain this conscious, physical matter? And also orbs, right? You got ball lightning, and that ball lightning there's many cases where it seems to demonstrate a conscious behavior or intelligent action.
What would a ball lightning need intelligence for? Is it just like navigating through the forest or something? Or
what if it's a trans-dimensional being?
Right, but I mean, if someone was theorizing that ball lightning was conscious, like, did someone see it doing something conscious at some point?
I get this from the fact that my dad, when he was like, I think before he was a teen, maybe 12, something like that. But growing up in Saskatchewan in like the 50s or something, lightning had struck the railway, and there was ball lightning orb that formed, and it went straight along the rail line and the rail line was across the street the road from their house, and that this orb stopped directly in front of their house, and then it began to cross the road, came straight across into and through the screen door, my dad says, and then it stopped when it saw him, and it just disappeared.
Did it hurt the screen door?
No, it didn't affect the screen door at all, which is freaking mind-blowing, because it's like going through a Faraday cage, essentially, for an energetic being, or energetic ball of energy.
Is it ball lightning we're talking about? Or
yeah, ball lightning. He said it was lightning that hit the train tracks, and then this giant ball lightning came off of it, and it like moved straight along the tracks, stopped when it reached like directly in front of his door, and then came straight across the road. Like it was probably like 100, 200, 100 meters from the train tracks across the road
before it crossed.
place, and he said it was like a consistent speed, and then it like, I think he said it momentarily stopped and then proceeded through the screen, and then like was the same speed and then stopped. I have to interview my dad on that.
Could it burn you? Because
Probably.
I don't know what I've heard of ball lightning, but only as like a phenomenon. But I guess I would assume that if you had your hand out and the ball lightning passed through your hand, I assume that it would like fry your hand.
Right, theoretically it should, right? It should be a giant discharge of electricity and like getting zapped by this thing, right? Like that's nothing compared to ball lightning.
Interesting. I don't want to.
And he said it dissipated into nothing, and like a lot of time they're known to like explode, which it's like.
Is there a way to recreate? I mean, if we can recreate dimensions in CERN, someone's got to be able to recreate ball lightning. No,
that's what I've been working on, talking with both John Hutchinson as well as the Bob Greenier with his Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. They've been through the Thor reactor as well as the lightning storm reactor or generator devices, and the Bagel coil, which is exactly this configuration of coils, then with extremely high voltage put through, generates ball lightning in the middle and these orbs out of it. Fascinating stuff.
How much energy are we talking about? Like if you were to use something about that size, like are you going to see it on your
great question that I've got written down to ask Bob in my next interview with him specifically.
So here's something that you definitely know. No pop quizzes or anything. What was BurnEye like to have as a student in 7th grade science class? Were you just an absolute hellion and questioning every single thing and trying to melt down the teacher's golden rings and necklace? Or
that was me in university. That was me in university, and I got kicked out post-secondary several times.
I want to hear this.
So I got kicked out of astronomy class for showing images. This was like 15 years ago, of showing active volcanic plumes on Mars that had just been taken, and that at the time, now NASA, never gonna string answer is like, recognizes, there's active volcanoes all over Mars now. But 15 years ago, no, that was impossible. How dare you? This is blasphemy. Get the fuck out of my class for even proposing this. That was.
Was that a direct quote from the teacher?
Yeah, like pretty much. It was 15 years ago, so pardon my. It might be off a word or two, but like he was swearing and was like, "This is impossible. Get the hell out of here, or get the fuck out." I think he said. But then number 2 was I was taking petroleum engineering intro course, and I was showing these pictures of fracking, like homes by fracking wells, where it was like you could light the freaking tap on fire because of all the excess gas. And the bitch was like, "That's impossible. There's not one documented case." And I'm like, "Well, what is this, dear?" Like, "Oh, well, that's from that case. No, they signed NDAs and it was settled." "Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still happening, bitch." Like, fuck you. But yeah.
So I'm going to go with you were a treat to have in class.
But in grade 7, I was like a little freaking teacher's angel. And I had like, I don't know, I was an honors kid through most of junior high and high school.
Did you pay attention in chemistry class?
A bit, but I wish more, and I really need to relearn the majority of it so I can start making my esters. Just kidding. That's like
what's the most complicated thing you would trust yourself to do at this point? Here, let me reverse that to maybe a easier answer. What's the least complicated thing that you're not comfortable doing yet? Like, what's the thing that you're like, man, if I could trust myself.
If you get the animal specimen, I will put it in the egg to try to grow the homunculus.
Well, what do you need exactly? Let's not mince words here, because I'm not an alchemist. Like, what is the exact product
need the male's genetic material, and I'm just not comfortable collecting that.
What do you mean? It seems like you
I'm not jerking off the dog to get its semen to put it into a chicken egg to grow a half dog, half chicken, but I do want to try to grow a half dog, half chicken.
So what, you need me to go over to Saskatchewan and jerk off your dog?
Maybe.
I mean,
a dog. Oh.
For science, I mean, I feel like the dog would do most of the work. All you got to do is just kind of guide it into the, you know, you just got to guide it, and it'll take care of the rest of it. There would be no coercion involved. We'd have NDAs signed. We'd have some kind of an academic observer there, I assume, to just take notes to make it official. Because if that guy's not there, then it truly is just two weird dudes in a room with a dog getting jerked off. But
yeah, so we don't want that. But
if you got someone taking notes, now there's like academic merit. And I mean, I'm saying this halfway jokingly, but if you look through the history of science, like the first guy that discovered nitrous oxide, for example, I think it was Priestley. I might be wrong. But the first dude, he was just like going, if you imagine, right? Because it's like we see the bio, or you see like the History Channel document, and it's got like candle lit and like the nice fading and all that stuff, and like the classical music. But really what happens is this 17-year-old guy moves away from home for the first time in his life, manufactures nitrous oxide, gets high off of it, brings it back to his dorm room, and just gets high off of it for another like 3 or 4 weeks straight, and then convinces other people to do it. And now you're like, oh, but that was, you know, Dr. So, like, I had to memorize that guy's name and write a paper. So it's got all of this extra allure and like academic, you know,
right? Like oh, he was a genius.
But when that guy did that for the first time and ended up just huffing nitrous for a few days straight, and I'm not, that's not a hyperbole. If you look into, and I almost want to Google it, but I think it's Priestley. But like whoever discovered it was just doing it nonstop and getting other people to do it. And then they took it on the road and they would charge people to do it. Like, hey, walk into this tent, hang out for a little while, you'll get stoned. And they were like, okay. And that was just like the thing, right?
That's now just how monkeys do, right?
If you were to do that with any other substance, and it's not in an academic setting, even if you're doing the exact same thing, now all of a sudden you're a crackhead. So
yeah.
So that, anyways, so yeah, I'll jerk your dog off, but I'm not a crackhead for doing
it. For science.
For science.
Right, but like I've been thinking.
Honestly, is that all you're missing though? And then all of a sudden you can make a homunculus? Like,
right, because I've been thinking about it from a philosophical point of view, and then just from like a scientific point of view, and it's like, well, I certainly don't want to be jerking myself off and then like making my own half babies if like there's any like reality to this, and then like have to kill them and shit. Like that's just mess.
Is that not the classical concept of a homunculus?
Exactly.
Like, they weren't sourcing it from their dog. They were sourcing it from themselves.
No. Right then, Juan loves bringing up his favorite story of how it involved, like how they had to beat and jerk off this dog. But it's like, I've thought about this, and it's like, well, why are they jerking off the dog? To get the dog specimen. And then it's like, that's how they're making these like half animal mutation things potentially. Like, you know, a hellhound chicken, like put the freaking dog semen into a chicken egg, maybe, and put in some voltage in some salt water, see if it grows. I think it might, especially with what I've seen blood do in the salt water with silver salt water.
Just hold on. One question, because like usually when alchemy or one of these ingredients or methods sounds like crazy, it's to like completely obscure something, right? Yeah. So are we saying that beating the cow's carcass?
No, that's what makes it obscure and fucked up. It's that they just needed the half specimen of the male to put into the female egg to mix the cross species in this homunculus thing.
So, but I'm saying is that, did they really mean they were beating a cow's carcass with a dog?
Oh, or were they beating him?
Or was this just like a reference? And if so, it's not even that good of like a a colloquialism, right? Like it's not even really hiding it. Like you're almost making it worse. Like it almost seems like it would be less
or did it
controversial if
get
you were just
lost in
like,
translation? Was like one guy just like, I am not writing beat off the dog's dick, all right? Beat off the carcass, you know?
okay. I honestly, I've never heard this before, and it does make sense because that also explains why you'd have to find the biggest one. Because I guess in theory now there's like a practical
The genetic
element to that.
purpose,
I don't
yeah.
know. So, but honestly, the real question is if this is the only thing holding you back, I feel like there's solutions to this problem.
I also don't want to like get my channels canceled for like ethically crossing lines, or I'm afraid that it would actually probably might like grow and live into something, and then what the fuck Pandora's box did we open?
Devil's advocate, but you would, in my mind, you become an instant worldwide sensation millionaire, or the CIA comes and kills you, either or. But if it's the first one, then you can take these infinite resources and use that for good.
But
Maybe.
simultaneously, any and every idiot out there is then gonna start trying to like fuck a chicken and make a chicken homunculus of themselves because they
I mean,
saw it
these
might
chicken
work.
nuggets aren't going to make themselves, my friend. And if there's some sort of a bridge between here and an endless food supply to solve world hunger,
Yeah,
again, if it takes a bunch of weirdos doing weird things in order to get there,
fair, right? I guess like because if all it took was like inseminating like pig sperm into chicken egg and then like into this electrolysis
world
silver
hunger is
alchemy
solved
jar,
instantly.
and then boom, you got
You got a turducken, and you don't even have to do all the
right.
weird cooking part. You could just make a turducken and then put it in the microwave, and you're good. So I don't know. I feel like there might be something to that. I don't know if it's necessarily an abomination of nature or like a soulless creature, but that is the biggest element, and I guess that's the one that I can relate to. I guess is
And the
that what if it
question of
works?
is it a soulless entity? And that's why I ethically myself could not start experimenting in such a field with my own seed because it's
Well, does
just
this
like,
mean that you don't think dogs have souls?
no, just I don't want to be killing my own soul. Of course, my dog has a soul and goes to heaven. And
Oh, but you'll kill your dog's part of your dog's
if it
soul.
came out like a vicious monster, like sometimes people have to, if their dog was traumatized and starts maiming people, they have to put it down, right? It's not that the dog doesn't have a soul, it's just that you
Well,
created a
can't you just apply
monster.
that same logic to a little BurnEye homunculus that, like, if it becomes a
But it's half.
ravenous,
But it's half. You don't put down little freaking Thomas because he's a little monster, no, right?
I
But
don't. I mean,
Thomas's dog, you
honestly,
might.
I'm on the fence there. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that issue. To be honest, I feel like I would be more rational about it. That if I, like, for example, if I fed the little Thomas homunculus after midnight and I got water on him and he turned into a gremlin, like I've seen the movie enough times that I would not feel bad about squishing them and putting them in the microwave, as long as they weren't playing like a cool little synth keyboard and they were all cute looking. But like, I don't know, if I saw like a little sharp toothed demonic,
Right.
homunculus, I don't care if it's 99% me, like it's going in the microwave.
I agree with that. It's just that, like, from my scientific point of view or perspective in like experimentation, there wouldn't just be one. So it's like, how many times are you going to have to kill your own demon, sort of thing, and create your own demon? Let's start with an animal first.
Do you think
Start
there's
with the
any
pet.
chance that the movie Gremlins was actually about homunculus?
Maybe. I don't like. There's What We Do in the Shadows. They do a whole episode on homunculus, but don't call it that. They make a whole bunch of different. What's the familiar's name? But then he gets turned in season 5. He's about Helsing. Is that how you say it? Van
Van
Helsing.
Helsing? Yeah, he's like a blood relative.
I think so. He's the Mexican guy. I forget his name. Anyways,
Guillermo.
Guillermo. There we go. Yes, Guillermo. You know the episode I'm talking
I've
about?
seen it.
Oh god,
Yeah.
Isn't it like the fish
So
homunculus?
who's the homunculus?
What? So they no the how am I forgetting their names?
They're like a
Nadia's
little
husband.
puppet. Nadia has like a puppet. Is that what
No,
we're
but
talking
Nadia's
about?
husband. The son. Who's Nadia's husband again?
I don't remember his name off the
Right?
top
I
of
should
my
know
head.
this.
And there's
Right?
Colin Robinson, but Colin Robinson turns into like a baby and then grows
He's
back
almost a
up into
homunculus himself, right? But no,
maybe.
the Guillermo episode. It's in season 5, halfway through, as Guillermo's tranning into a vampire. Nadia's husband does some science on Guillermo, and he's like, Guillermo, I need you to like just go jack off in the corner a bunch of times. I need like your specimen to like run some science stuff on. And then it's like he comes back and there's like a half Guillermo, half dog, half Guillermo,
Oh, okay,
half
okay.
like
I
fish,
totally
half
missed that.
Guillermo,
Yeah,
half frogs.
that was doing the homunculus thing. Yeah.
Right? That's homunculus without calling them homunculus. Vampire
So
homunculus.
if that were possible, I really do believe that there'd be some TikTok channel with like Bernie the Frog and Bernie the Wolf and Bernie the Bear and whatever. If it were truly possible, someone out there would have made themselves like a little cult of
supposedly some
themselves.
from Russia, but then they all like the guys died and disappeared. Have you not seen like the original homunculus experiments on YouTube from the Russians?
I have, and I've got questions. Hold on, really quick shout. Oh, do I have? Yeah. So really quick shout out. I just want to say that Juan Ayala is the nation's leading and only homunculologist. There's a couple other people that have popped up online and they've tried to claim that they themselves are a homunculologist, but it's not true. It is only Juan Ayala.
I give
Where
it to Juan for bringing my awareness into the homunculi reality.
So he is the homunculologist, and we have gone incredible detail and lengths to find out exactly what the Russian dude was doing, and I think we know exactly what he was doing. And I spoiler alert for anyone that's really committed to the Russian homunculus guy, it's a fraud. It's all fake. I'm
but
almost
there was
positive.
multiple guys.
Well, I think that they're all frauds and fakes, and I'm pretty
okay.
sure that it's a combination of cornstarch, food coloring, and sponge, like a very specific type of sponge that you can then seed like cornstarch into, and if you soak it and add just a little bit of food coloring, it looks like a little creature. And if you know how to flick your wrist right, anyways, this I don't even know why I want to show this right now, but this is something I've been working on that'll be coming out in next year, maybe next summer. I'm not even sure yet. I'm just gonna give a tiny little preview, but
you got
we've got this little it's all you're gonna see. That's a little homunculus body shell. But I've also got this this special little if you inhale this, you will die. Guaranteed. Like I don't even know if I should even be selling this. It's like incredible. look at the warnings on like do not allow in any capacity, like don't inhale, don't swallow, don't get it on your skin, don't get in your eyes. I'll probably die just from touching the bag. But if we mix that, if you mix that specific powder, and you find a shell. This is just a demo shell of like what a homunculus might be.
Your homunculus might grow and come
The
alive.
homunculus could actually, and I'm just gonna say that as soon as I've got a working experiment and I get that powder to pass some regulatory tests, because I might not be allowed to sell this anywhere yet. But if I'm allowed to sell it, I gotta maybe consult with lawyers. We'll have a 100% legitimate homunculus growing kit that we can sell alongside the homunculus owner's manual. Been working on it for like a year. Been trying to source this stuff from China. I finally found a small bat. I'm gonna get into it. It literally
that's epic.
This sounds like I'm making this up, and I don't blame anyone that thinks that I'm lying. But it literally fell off a truck, and I got like that's all I'm gonna say. But it literally fell off of a truck. It was like damaged goods. And it was like the stars aligned. And I was like, I'm looking for this weird chemical that probably got me on a list for looking for it. and then I find a supplier that's like, well, we actually just had this batch that like the UPS truck got into a anyways. So long story short, we
Damn,
are
and
not
that's
only
some
do I know of the
commitment,
Russian
people.
guys, but we are gonna dismantle everything that they think that they've been putting out, show it as a fraud, and then show what it really might operate as. But I don't have the know-how to like do the entire process.
And by 2024, I might try. I don't know. Do I tell people? No, I do not want people sending me samples.
Well, no, see what all you do though is that I don't know what the full process is, but there could even be a business here where you
I
send your
don't need
sample into
any
a
sorts
lab.
of semen being sent in the mail to me at all. So
Well, no,
we'll
but you could
source it another
train.
way.
You could franchise this out. You could train other technicians, and once the franchisees get stuff going on, they accept the samples and they run everything. And also that
Now we're
karmically frees
talking.
you from any karmic debt for having to maybe
The
destroy souls.
homunculus rub and tug for
No, I mean
scientific purposes.
let's have some class and decorum here. It would be I've been working on a few of these, so I've got them off the top of my head. None of them are good, so I haven't landed on one. But you don't need a tongue to kiss as long as you've got a homunculus.
I like that. That's gold.
There's few and far between. I'm still working on some.
That will get you a cult follow. That will create a cult following all of its own.
I really do feel like there's something, and I just recently read Moonchild, because I'm gonna do an episode with Juan for a cult book club on Moonchild, and that also is talking about a completely different type of homunculus, but it seems like it's like a spiritual homunculus. I don't know if you're familiar with this at all.
A little bit. I've read into like there's come across a decent amount of like the ancient alchemical homunculi stories, like of the demon style and like like
this one there's no potions or none of that involved. It's all astrology and ritual.
Really?
Kind of like what you were saying, like knowing like the phases of the moon, and you essentially treat the vessel, in this case it's a human female, but you treat the vessel as if itself has its own, like it's going through its own little zodiac, daily, monthly, just on any scale. You zoom in, you zoom out, there's always this astrological sign. So depending on where they're at astrologically, you play them certain types of music, serve them certain types of food. It's like a complete pamper session, like nonstop. And you've got people like just like waiting on them, and the whole thing, it's just the ultimate concept of as above so below. Like if if the stars are aligned this way, we're treating you as if the stars were aligned, as if you were that same astrological sign. So you do that long enough, and you're essentially preparing an actual fetus to be attractive. You're like dolling it up. You're like, you're giving it nice golden brown coating and a candy shell coating, and advertising it to all these demons that are floating around. Like, hey, you want, like, this is a sweet vessel. You want this vessel? That's kind of the concept.
That's gonna be one interesting discussion. I'm gonna look forward to watch.
They're basically cars. You're like a car salesman.
Yeah, you're pimping your child's spirit, essentially.
Well, no, you're pimping your child's body, just like the clump of cells, right? You're
the body. The body. Yeah. It's not getting a normal.
And you're like,
soul.
see yourself in Little Bernie. See yourself driving around in Little Bernie. Put the window down.
I see what. Whoa, that's crazy. Okay. So
we'll
it's like,
there. Anyways, I don't want to give too much.
Your child is not going to be like a soul of its own. It's going to be both like a demon / your controlled like things, or like a little connection of both. Like it's
dude. It's like a designer spiritual baby, like outside of the genetic aspect, which I'm sure adds a whole nother layer onto this. But it's like I want to make sure that my baby has this kind of a spiritual thing, so we'll just like make that attractive to that spirit. So when the spirit comes by, it's like, oh, that looks like my size, and it pops in.
Yeah, it resonates with a lot of the other ancient alchemical and magical ritual practices that I've myself have read. Like, there's so much crazy occult stuff out there. It just, yeah.
There's no end, and we don't have enough seconds in our lifetimes to uncover it all. So you got to pick and choose, right? So, but it sounds like we're gonna pick and choose to just jerk off your dog.
You're gonna jerk off my dog.
All right, hold on. Look, we're gonna turn this back around on you.
Hey, conspiracy buffs! I double dare you to take some PCP, the Paranormal Conspiracy Probe. On your marks, get set, and go!
I didn't even ask if you knew the rules for PCP. Do you know the rules?
I do not.
The rules are that I'm just going to make a statement, and you're going to give me 0 to 10 on how much you agree with that statement. That's it. That's the whole rules.
10.
Awesome. We're off to a great start. Human beings have set foot on the moon.
5.
Human beings have set foot on the moon in the last 100 years.
4.
Aliens helped build the pyramids.
3.
Anunnaki helped build the pyramids.
4.
Angels came down from heaven and had intercourse with humans.
5.
Time travel exists.
6.
Time travel exists today.
Ooh. Come see me, time traveler.
Bigfoot exists.
10. 11.
Demons exist.
9.
Angels exist.
9.
Dinosaurs exist.
Now or before?
Ever.
Yeah, but some might have called them dragons.
Okay, let's stick to numbers here, my friend.
10.
Okay, dragons existed.
10.
Fire-breathing, flying dragons existed.
I'm going to give that a 7 because I think I saw something like that, but there was just no fire coming out of it. But that's a cryptid story for another day.
The combination of the impact of the plane and along with the heat caused a massive
0.
Okay, you didn't even let me finish.
0 on ground zero being whatever the bullshit they claimed.
A plane hit one of the towers physically.
Probably. So 5, I guess. But
Okay.
I don't
know. It was the inverse of like the plane was just a hologram, but like I want to know if the plane, like, did a plane actually hit? Was it?
I suspect so, but I suspect it was remote controlled.
We buried Osama bin Laden at sea out of respect for his culture.
0.
Obama bin Laden was just one person.
0.
JFK was killed by aliens.
Not by aliens, but because of aliens?
By
7.
aliens.
0.
Okay. Well, some of these I'm just making sure you're paying attention here. I like what I'm hearing. And then you can use magic to summon demons.
10.
All right, let's start there and walk backwards. We're out of the danger zone. You passed the flying colors. We got you. So when it comes to demons, this is where I always go. Apologize for anyone that's sick of me going down this line of thinking, but if you were to say go on Amazon and just search for the top 10 popular how to summon a demon books, and you bought all 10, and let's say you're an atheist, or let's say even if you're not an atheist, you're a good person, you're not an evil, horrible person, like you're not already on your way to hell. If anything, you're on your way to heaven, right? But you go on Amazon, you buy the top 10 how to summon a demon books, you read them all book cover to cover, and you repeat exactly what they say, assuming that none of them are like go and kill grandma or go and kill a dog, right? Would that person summon a demon at some point?
Potentially.
I mean, that's a answer.
Depends how committed they were.
Let's say they're extremely committed up until the point of causing harm to somebody else, or causing some sort of unwitting or unwanted
I would say
damage.
the demon might already be out and they're unaware.
I mean, do you think that's true? Like, do you think you could just order books on Amazon, read it, and unleash a demon into the world or into your life?
Actually, no, because you can't do it solo. You need a cipher or a circle of 4, I believe, from what I've seen.
Could the circle be your homunculi?
No, because I think you're sharing one soul.
Could it be a bunch of ball lightning that you summon?
Definitely. That's a 10.
So if you sat down and then created a few different ball lightnings and formed a little circle, and then started summoning demons using books off Amazon,
I'd say you'd summon some angels or demons in those ball lightning to begin with, and then you're just bringing more through.
Sorry, would you say that it's possible to go to whatever your interpretation of hell is from just summoning ball lightning then?
I don't know. Potentially another realm, definitely, maybe.
Can you kill ball lightning? Like, could you just like expend its energy in a way that would ultimately be considered killing it?
Maybe.
Does that mean you could kill an angel?
Right? I don't know. Maybe like a hose it down with a fire truck of salt water. Who knows? Ghostbusters, suck it in. Maybe that's
if
what
you
the
were
Ghostbusters were doing. They were stealing angels, orbs, and angels.
I mean, you might not be wrong to use the energy to make little homunculus Frankenstein creatures.
That's what Generation Z is. Just kidding. Don't kill me.
So, what is Generation Z?
I heard they were snowflakes that get mad at everything, but I'm just kidding. Isn't it everybody that was like born from 97 to like 2012?
Okay, I thought you were calling out like a podcast or something.
Oh God, no, not taking on. I love David Rossi. Generation Z's a great podcast.
Okay,
no, I was talking about the entire people of the world born from, and I'm totally joking. Don't kill me, 1 billion snowflakes out there.
I mean, if you were to get hit by 1 billion snowflakes, would that be drowning, or would that be like getting?
That's called an avalanche, and you do suffocate. It happens quite frequently in Canada.
Okay,
especially
so
when
it's ultimately
skiing or snowboarding backcountry.
That actually sounds appropriate. If you were surrounded by 1 billion snowflakes, the fact that you would just suffocate to death feels like that's how it would feel. Right?
Hey, right? Oh, that works in 2 dimensions, eh?
So what are the other big projects that you're working on aside from waiting for me to come up there and hang out with you and your dog?
APEC, Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference, once a month. I co-host that with Alien Scientist and Tim Ventura. It is awesome. It's dealing with free energy, anti-gravity, and disclosure in general when it comes to these higher technologies, and trying to also open source just technology development and sustainability for the average person is the ultimate goal out of it. And then, the new year, looking at setting up my silkscreen equipment again, get printing again. Looking forward to that. and all the projects. We got the Science of Sound series, we got the Real Science series. I'm also now starting Freestyle Fridays with Holohan of King of the Dot rap battles.
Are you freestyling on
God,
these?
no, not at all. I was
Okay.
always the BurnCron merchandiser. I printed their shirts, I sold their shirts, and hey, I'll do it again.
Roll, man. Sometimes staying in your lane's a good thing.
Exactly.
Not everyone needs to be swerving in and out of lanes.
Damn straight. That's the way I like to. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I don't try to do things that other people are better at, and share their skills. You don't have to be the best at everything.
This
right?
this is kind of the concept of the homunculus, though, is that like the alchemist would realize they're really good at one thing, but they're like, I don't have enough time or resources to be good at like 5 things. But if I could take me and clone it and teach them all to be good at these other things, like
So 2025, a freestyling BurnEye homunculus. That is the goal.
If this is the motivation you need to jerk off your dog, then I'm happy to provide that for you.
See, but then that's not a me homunculus. That's my dog's homunculus.
Well, I mean, can't you just like mix it all together and just get like the best of everything?
Oh, 2-headed, half dog, half Bernie, half chicken.
A Cerebrus Bernie.
Damn! Now you're just like going like
a Cerebernie. I don't know. We gotta workshop the name a little bit. I feel like if we land on a good name, you'll be even more sold on this.
It'll definitely have to be in a comic book.
Okay, this will be Patreon only. And speaking of, do you have like how do people help you get your next ounce of gold to just turn into dust?
Well, I do have a deal with anybody that wants to watch and have their own made. That I will, if you donate gold, I'll make half. Make it all. I give half to you, keep the other half. Like I've done that with a couple of viewers, so it's like you get half the amount back, but it'll be white, not blue, and it'll be made on camera in front of you. Or if you just want to support me, there's PayPal /BurnCron, BERNCRON is me. But I really got to get into the Patreon game because it seems to be the way to go, right? Good community.
Hit and miss. So I'll go ahead and give the pros of it. First of all, I haven't been banned off the platform yet, so I'm a fan. I do know that it's not hard to get yourself asked to leave forcibly. And it also wasn't easy for me to transition from an adult only, which meant that if you tried to search for me, I wouldn't have come up unless you just like clicked on a link directly. It took me about better half of a year to get myself off of that naughty adult list.
Really? Okay.
So that's one thing, word to the wise, unless you know what you're getting into, don't post anything that might be conceived as like adult, because they'll put you in like the ultimate corner to think about what you've done. So
the
that was
XXX corner.
That's a big one. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my truly adult content. I can't go directly onto Patreon.
I hear Pornhub supposedly has some epic podcasts for like that aren't. It's not porn. It's just like it's adult.
Sure, yeah. I'm just reading the articles. I was just there.
I don't know. I
know you saw it in the history, but I was there to listen to the podcasts. I wasn't.
Yeah, right.
That's the new version of I read it for the articles.
Yeah, I see. I don't do it, so I don't know. And
but the other huge pro of Patreon is that and this is beyond like the monetary aspect, is that you start developing a community of people that care enough about supporting you that they put their money where their mouth is, and it's literally like the equivalent of someone buying you a coffee once a month, like the first Monday of the month or something. You go out and you buy your friend like a sandwich. Or not even like, sandwiches are freaking expensive now, but and once you start seeing how many people are willing to, have a coffee with you every single month and it keeps building, it's just like an incredible amount of motivation. Cause like, honestly, the the Patreon income until you get into like big boy levels, which I'm not at. It's like it barely covers, like a lunch or something. Especially if you've got a fancy taste like I do, where I'm just drinking monoatomic gold by the gallon over here. Like I don't even care, bro. I'm just melting stuff down.
Right.
Grandma passes away. The first thing I do is I raid the jewelry and I break it down into monoatomic gold, and
that's grandma's silver in that jar right there. I kid you not.
Oh god, it better not turn blue, man. Did it turn blue?
No.
Okay.
I got the technique down.
Okay, yeah. I guess you would develop until you start throwing in the big family heirlooms until they just
it's just a couple coins.
So those are the good aspects of Patreon. And then I guess the bad ones is just that I do know that people have had that carpet just ripped out from under them. Like they did some persona non grata sort of thing, and next thing you know, this this big basket of eggs that you've been waiting on, you were going to make this the best omelet in the world next month, now it's gone. And it might not even someone might even take in the eggs and the basket, you know what I mean? And now you got to beg for it. So anytime that kind of thing happens, and I know people have left the platform for that kind of reason, but I'm doing my damned best to skirt on that line in between the two. So I highly
good
until I get kicked off.
Until you actually jerk my dog off on Patreon.
Yeah, I don't know if we can even insinuate that that's an option. So no, the Patreon, my Patreon, I don't know about yours, but mine will pretty much just be a month or maybe even 2 months early access when I've got the game. I don't know if you saw, but I've got a game that I've been working on called Lucifer Lives in Lower Manhattan. So, and if anyone wants to get early access to play that, give early feedback, all that, that will be Patreon only for sure. And then a whole bunch of there's the other cool thing too is that I'll do huge discounts for Patreon. So if someone pays, $7 to be a member, they'll get a $10 coupon. So even if they have their eye on something, it pays for itself and then some. So it's win-win for everybody. So I don't know. There's so many great reasons to have a Patreon.
For sure. I like that. More work for BurnEye before 2024.
Yeah, I mean, pace yourself.
Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
Merry Christmas to you. Well, actually, Happy New Year, and maybe even Happy Valentine's Day if you're not watching this on Patreon. Happy Valentine's Day, because it's probably around there. So do you have a Valentine's picked out?
This episode is that good of content. It's gonna bring payers.
And this is there we go. Let's just leave it on that. So I love you. Happy Valentine's Day, BurnEye.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I love all you guys. Please be my Valentine. Please check me out. Please go to Patreon and please buy some stickers.
American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. We got all your favorite conspiracies, all the land and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret society, all of these and more on our sticker sheets.
Explore the unique with Paranoid American sticker sheets. Unearth tales of cryptids, cults, and mysteries through each sticker. These won't last long. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.
All American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. We got all your favorite conspiracies, all of that and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret society, all of these and more on our sticker sheets.
What the heck are you waiting for? Discover the extraordinary with Paranoid American sticker sheets. From cryptids in the night to cults out of sight, each sticker is a unique find. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.